Hey guys, so I had a lot of people that they wanted me to try to make a video, on how I deal with my acid reflux or how I deal with my GERD, so to say. So basically, this is just the things that I do in the research that I did, rather than taking the Tums. Um, so now being over 40, it's different for different people. um, there could be somebody that could be over 40 that can still eat a bunch of food and still be fine. But for me, I couldn't. I would have to say it started when I was about 35. I started noticing the symptoms, and I would be one to where I would eat, five, if not, 6 meals a day, just to try to get bigger. And unfortunately, that just took a big, huge turnaround. Due to that, getting older. So when we hit 35, 40, our pH levels drop to anywhere from 2.0, 2.5, and there's technically supposed to be around 3.3 to 3.5. So I started noticing symptoms, and it started to have like a heartburn type of feeling, and then I would start getting like more of a lump type sensation in my throat when I was swallowing, when I didn't even have food in me. So this is my story, and how I found that natural remedy to battle that, and to reverse it and cure it, because it is curable, it is reversible. And Tums, unfortunately, is not the answer. I went to so many doctors, and that's basically what they told me to take was Tums, or take an anti-acid, the prescriptions and whatnot. So I started taking those, and just along my journey, especially being a power lifter, and trying to gain the strength, is that your pH levels, they end up dropping. So just now kind of moving forward, you know like I mentioned before in a few of my videos, when you are passing 40, your pH levels drop. So they're supposed to be around 4.0 to 3.5. So this is the story on how it all happened. Is that 4 out of 5 doctors that I did go to had all told me the same thing, and basically it was to take Tums, to take the prescriptions, and so I went along with it. But looking on the back of the bottle, you can see that there is, certain side effects that come along with that. If you're taking it for 2 weeks, or if you're taking it 4 weeks, that you might experience these side effects. So now, doing the natural remedies of it all, is that the fasting was something that I looked into, and that had helped tremendously. So my first day of trying it, I fasted for about 26 hours. I went without food for 26 hours. I drank a bunch of water, and I noticed the next day that my symptoms were gone. So I also found that apple cider vinegar is a natural remedy, and that will increase acidity in the body. And so does betaine hydrochloric acid. That's another a natural herb that you can take. And a lot of those, I more shop at Better Health and Fresh Time. Rosemary is another one. Chlorophyll is another one also, and that's in a liquid form. There was another one that I also researched, and that is it's called slippery elm, almost kind of like tree bark, but it's in a serum, or it is in a liquid type form, or a powder also you can get, which will not only coat the throat, but it will regenerate the throat, and it'll clear the lining of your esophagus and heal that over time with the fasting. So a lot of it had to do with that all the food and the snacking as I ate 7 times a day and I snacked in between my meals. So the body had no time to recover from doing all the research, as it takes 24 hours from the meal that you have in your body to the next day. So 12 to 14 hours after that, your liver is still going through that glucogenesis process. So 16 to 18 hours without, you're getting stem cell production in the blood. So the white blood cells and the glucogenesis, those all operate in process 18 to 20 hours after, because your liver uses up your glycogen restores after 18 hours, and then it goes to your pancreas, and your pancreas has to filter all that out. So if I'm eating every 3 hours, and snacking in between, there's no time for rest, because it's more, I need to eat 6-7 times a day because I want to put muscle on and I want to get bigger, and not really focusing on, the whole aspect of it's about the nutrients that you're putting in your body. So now I still do that same routine, but I get my food in first, and I try to be done, eating all my meals around 3 to 3:30. So I'm getting a good 16 to 18 hours in of fasting. So it's more that my body will use that food in that process of fasting before I go to my next meal, which would be 16 to 18 hours after. So my body has the time to digest the food, rather than constantly putting more food in my body that my body's just not going to really digest, and it's just going to go all down the drain. So if I'm eating, 8 chicken breasts a day, 60 to 70% of that is just going down the drain, to where I found if I go to a good health food store, get a good, some grass-fed chicken, salmon, asparagus, the stuff that has the nutrient-dense stuff, especially your eggs, which has your, your biotin and your choline and whatnot, and it's actually a natural remedy for cataracts. Something else I want to throw in there too is also castor oil. Castor oil is good for cataracts. Castor oil is good for dark spots on the eyes. It's good for natural hair regrowth also, if you put that into your scalp. So that's another good thing. Magnesium, potassium, and chloride. Those are things also. And this is just, through my journey on what I have to do, because the body loses hydration even when it sleeps. So I have to replenish that, especially when I go longer. There are days where I do go longer. I might go 20 hours. Sometimes on the weekend or every other week, I'll go 20 to 24 hours without it. And, the inflammation has gone down in my body. I don't hurt anymore. And a lot of this stuff was just stuff that I personally did, as I'm not a doctor, but, unfortunately nowadays we have to be our own doctor and we have to research things, because, sometimes, doctors can't always, be there every day to see, okay, if this person is going through something, we're going to constantly, look to see exactly what it is and where it's coming from, to where they don't have the time to do that, to where we know our body, we know what we go through, we know if we're hurting, we know the symptoms, we know exactly what is going on. So doing the research, it does help. So I kind of wanted to put this video out here just so you guys know, and just keep you guys updated, and just kind of put it out there that that's what I do to to treat GERD or acid reflux. Is the fasting really helps. And for me, I noticed that there hasn't been no issues, especially going 16 hours, 18 hours. It has disappeared. I haven't had any symptoms for over a year since I've been doing it. So, but that's the thing too, is just it's the acid, or the apple cider vinegar and the betaine hydrochloric acid. Before the meals, and then of course water, but it's also fasting in between the meals too, not constantly eating. So those are the things that I implement and that I do, especially on the days I work out. So I'll still eat before I work out, but I'll make sure that I fast first. So my very first meal is 16 hours after. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that some of this stuff has helped. If anybody is going through any of this at all, those are just things you could always look up and research and check out. But you can find any of those anywhere, Walmart, Fresh Time, or Better Health. So I hope you guys have a great and awesome week. Stay strong, and I will keep intact with you guys.